Yeah, hi, good morning. We'll start a backup and recovery part. This is a continuation to my yesterday's class. We have discussed what is backup, backup types. We have SQL dump, file system level backup, and continuous archiving. I shown you with PG dump, uh, yes, file system level backup and continuous archiving. I'm going to show you now. When you take a backup or when you are planning to set up a streaming replication, we have a cluster here. Okay, so we have a cluster. A cluster is an instance in Postgres that is running on some port. Okay, here I'm showing you 5001. This server is used for read and write. This is on host A, and I have the same thing on host B. So we use a file system level backup called PG based backup. So the PG based backup is like daily backup as a one-time activity, weekly backup again as a one-time activity. Some companies they take it on weekly basis or daily basis. It is going to take a full backup. So it is going to connect to the PDC server and maintain the backup in the backup server. This server is basically used for warm standby. We call it as a warm standby as a backup server. In case if my production server crashes, I have I have the new transactions written in the archive. The archives are copied to the PG wall, so your warm standby becomes a new server. So before that, we have a weekly backup or 15 days okay, backup. If I have a backup, say 1 month back, I have a production server of 100 GB since it is running last 1 month. I'm going to take a backup using a utility called PG based backup. The 100 GB of data is copied to the backup server. Today I started inserting a new transaction. Yesterday I have taken a full backup, and that is 100 GB. Today I started inserting a new transactions again close to 100 GB. The new 100 GB will be returned to the PDC. From PDC, it is PDC is nothing but primary data center, and here this is archive. So the PDC will have old 100 GB plus new 100 GB. It is copied to the PG wall, the new 100 GB, and from there it is archived. My production server is crashed. I'm going to apply these archives in the backup server. Okay, so this is like a file system level one. The process which copies from PG wall to archive is archiver process. Okay, so the archival process we have. So inside the archival process, I need to define the source and destination path. Okay, so I need to add that details. The process is known as copy from PG wall to archive. Yeah, there is an archive process, but the logical name we call it as continuous archiving. So he is going to continuously copy these wall files. I have written here 100 files. He's going to copy those files to the archive location. So we are maintaining old 100 files by enabling a wall keep segment. If you don't keep it, if you are not maintaining the old 100 files, then yes, it is automatically deleted from the PG wall. So your archive becomes inconsistent. That's why we need these wall keep segments. It says that maintain the old 100 files, and that information is written to the archive. From archive, it is copied to the PG wall only if my server is crashed. Okay, if my server is not crashed, if it is up and running, no need to do the recovery part. Okay, so this is online backup and recovery. The same thing we have with streaming application with hot standby. Streaming application with hot standby. The only difference is that in backup, my Instance is down here. Instance will never come up until my primary goes down. But in streaming replication, I can make use of SDC as a standby server. That is the name, secondary data center. Okay, so I can call it as a secondary data center, and that will be used for read-only activities, reporting purpose, or a DR. Okay, so you can set up a DR in a different host. So that is why we have this standby server. You can set up multiple standby server, and multiple standby servers are used for read-only activities. Okay. So that is the use case of SDC. The first use case, it is a warm standby. It is used for backup. The second thing is that it is hot standby. I can use it for read only. Now, what happens if my primary server fails? Okay, my production server is crashed. So I will promote the SDC as a new primary server. So this will be as a new primary server here. Earlier, he was with respect to the streaming application, he was acting as a read-only server, and the primary server goes down, and this will be acting as a new primary server. Okay, and all your read and write will be happening in the SDC server. If my old primary comes back, okay, so my old primary comes back, so I can make that as a standby, and standby server SDC, which was primary as a new primary, will remain as a new primary, and that will be connecting to the standby server. So here you will be performing read and write, and here it will be read only. Okay, so this is known as failback. So we have streaming application, one master, multiple standby. Okay, so that is how it is. Okay, so we have one master, multiple standbys. You can have one master, one standby, and the standby will have its own cascading standby. What we call. Okay, so that is how it is designed. Okay, so I'm going to show you in the practical how it looks. Okay, so this is my server. Here I'm going to set up a primary and standby. Okay, so I'm going to set up a primary. Okay, so here this is app01. Inside the app01, I'm creating a directory, NSC primary. Standby, or before we are going to set up a backup thing. See, in order to implement this, you need a Linux server. Okay. I think Lakshmi has shared you the CentOS. Okay, before we started this training, so you need to set up a CentOS server. Okay. Lakshmi, if you are there, am I right? You shared the CentOS to the
Yes.
team. Okay. So I have primary, I have backup server, then I have this utility called initdb. I'm going to set up NSD primary. Yeah, I will share you. I'm going to share you the steps. Okay. So once you have the Linux machine, you can practice. I have set up the NSC primary. Connect to NSC primary. Inside this, we need to edit few configuration parameters, or I can start it directly and later edit it. So this is the primary here. Okay, so this is the primary server. So inside this primary server, I need to make few changes. So this is the memory parameter. What we are setting to a higher value. The default is 128. Wall buffers, it is for transaction logs, which we already discussed in the configuration parameter. I think it was yesterday. Wall buffers we have discussed. Now we are setting up a online backup and replication. So it will be like auto system set wall level to replica. Okay, so that is what we have done. Archive mode. This is for enabling the archives from my source to the destination. I need to give the path. Okay, so this is the path where the archive will be copied. I'm setting wall keep segments, wherein we are going to say maintain hold 100 files. So once we make these changes, it requires a restart. Okay, so just briefing you, we have shared buffer that is set to 256 MB, that is basically used for read and write. Wall buffers 64 MB, wall level 2 replica, archive command, copy the uh, transaction log files to the archive location, wall keep segments to 100. After we make these changes, we have to restart it. It requires a restart. Okay, now connect to the server, connect to the production server and perform some transactions. Please, minus P5432. Okay, so you can verify those parameters which we changed. So it is these changes are applied after we restart it. Create table, archive one, select start from. I'm creating some big table. I'm creating this table. This table should be written in the archive location. So when we create a table in the primary, it should be copied to the archive from the wall to archive. That is continuous archiving. Logout cd slash app01 nse archive ls minus ls, just say ls. You see these files are copied from app01 nsc primary pg wall. So from the primary server, it is copied to the archives. Okay, so using these archives, I can set up a point in time recovery online backup and so on. Yeah, I think this is something you can still do it in a Windows operating system. Okay, so I'm going to add these steps. So in place of alter system, we are going to copy it. Create a directory. Okay, so we need to create a directory here. NSE guy. Some in some path you can give. So here I'm giving the F path. Let me see. CD. Okay, NSE archive. Okay, so you have to give something like this. CD F. You need to check whether you have F for C drive also you can maintain. Okay, uh, there you are going to create a NSE archive. You have to restart it. You have to connect to the service. Inside the service, you know how to restart it. So it is services. You'll find inside the services you will find Postgres equal. Okay, so here you will find it Postgres. Right click, restart. You have to do this. This is in the services. Okay, I think this lab you can try. Before that, create a directory before you do some activity. You can use data. There is a data cluster. So the data is inside C. So program files, Postgres equal 11 or 10, whatever the version. Data, there is a configuration file, or you connect to the shell prompt, PSQL shell prompt. Okay, so once you connect to the shell prompt, you need to execute from here. Okay, uh, this is something I'm just writing it as a note or a comment. Create directory before you restart it. And then, right, this is something services. Under that, you need to find Postgres SQL. There you need to do a restart. And once you restart, create this table and check that table in SEO. Okay, so you can try now. I'm keeping this screen open. Hi Adharup, I have shared this screen. Please try to implement in your Windows operating system.
Hello.
So these are the steps we are following for setting up a online backup. Okay, try to do this in your machine.
Yeah, this is Kalipan here. Actually, do we
Yeah,
need to change anything in the line of set archive command or?
that you need to change, right? Exactly the same thing. You have C drive or which path you have?
Yeah, I have both C and D drives.
Okay, you can maintain in D drive and create the directory called NSE archive under D drive. First, you need to create a directory.
Okay.
Kalapa, if you have completed any of these steps, let me know. I can scroll down.
Yeah, I have one doubt. Like before executing these commands, we need to create that NSC primary and NSC backup
No, no,
folders.
no, 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 no. You will be doing this in the data in the current directory only. That is what I told
Okay. Then I executed up to that slash q.
you.
Then
Okay,
I applied this command pg underscore ctl.
okay, and then you need to create a table.
Shall I? Should I give show archive command?
Yeah, you can type.
But I am not getting it. That's why.
You share your screen.
Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, yeah, it's visible.
I executed up to slash q.
Okay, type show archive command. Can you execute once again? Alter system.
Yes.
Equals to, no, no, equals. In single quotes, COPY percentage P space their D drive, whatever they are, slash percentage F.
F for
And yeah, F. And don't exit it. Just you have to single quotes close. And then I shared you one command in the chat. Okay, copy paste that. You hit a enter now. Semicolon and hit a enter. And execute that which I shared in the chat. Now you call show archive command. You, in Windows you use copy or what you use? Can you use X copy? Press up arrow in place of copy. You just type X copy, or you use double quotes in place of single quotes.
okay.
You can use upper arrow key.
Yeah, I pressed up arrow, but it is not
Yeah, you just copy
coming.
paste. Yeah, copy paste.
Any other changes?
That is fine. Okay, you'll see this, and now you do a reload, and then check it. Okay. Now you use X copy.
Xcop. Shall I press enter?
Hmm. Enter. Okay. Reload. Okay. 1 second. What? Give me 1 second. Let me check.
Okay.
I have pasted in the chat. Check. Try that. Yeah. What was the directory NSE?
Sorry.
NER.
NSE. Okay.
Okay. Try that. No, just copy paste.
I'm unable to copy paste from here. I can type.
You can right click and paste, right?
No, I cannot copy from here.
So you cannot copy.
Yes.
Okay. You can type.
I have copied here. See
Copy
the
to your
previous.
copy to your local notepad and
Yeah, that won't. That also won't work. The previous command only will come.
yeah, you type it in notepad first. Let me see what exactly the same thing I written in the chat. The same thing, same thing. Alter system.
Alter system.
Uh, it is alter,
Okay.
alter system and copy percentage p.
Should I have C here or D?
dd. Semicolon at the end.
Okay. I have created like this. Is that okay?
Yeah, that is fine. The same thing. And now you copy paste it. Okay, reload. Check.
Still no. Here equals will come or
You use the two to your. But equal is also correct parameter.
mm,
1 second.
so copy is the command which will be working in Linux alone. Huh?
Yeah, CP is the only one. 1 second. Delete alter system. No, you changed right again. See, previously you have given double line, double backslash.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Now this is the last try you can give, or else you can set up the Windows. Okay, one command I'm sharing.
Okay.
You go, go to program files. Data. There is a PostgreSQL auto.conf file. I edit it. So here, try command. Oh, there are double four times slash. You remove two slash once again.
So,
Oh, D after D you see backslash two times. Remove it. Remove two slash.
so
Copy percentage P single quotes D. Yeah, now you save and close and go to the services.
s-
You need to
services.
restart it. Requires.
Yeah, giving the this command, right? No,
No, that will not work. You need to do a restart.
sorry, restart in the sense I don't.
How did you start? Like, okay, search for services in Windows One. There, type services, enter, and there you have to look for PostgreSQL. Okay, now you try show archive command. Again, you type it once again. Okay, now it's okay. Alter system was not because of the double slash it was adding. Now you follow, try to create a table. I'm sharing in my screen. Yeah, create this table.
Okay.
Did that execute statement?
Sorry.
Did you execute that statement?
Yes, yes.
Now you connect to the directory and you share your screen now. One guy was joined, right? He logged out. Yeah, enter.
Actually, you typed archive one, right?
That is fine. That is fine. You just return it.
So
Enter.
I click the enter.
Yeah, enter. It is creating a table. And now you go to the D drive NSE archive. It's coming. So it is generating 15. Automatically these files are. Okay, it is completed. Okay. Kalepan, like you need to take a backup now. Okay. So I'm adding that in the chat panel.
Okay.
You need to open CMD prompt, not this, not the prompt what you are opening. Open one more CMD. And there you inside the D drive, like created NSE archive, create NSE underscore BKP under
Inside
D
the
drive. Inside the D drive, you create NSE underscore BKP.
DKP.
B for Bangalore.
Oh, BKP.
No, you can connect to the directory and create, right? Right click and do it inside D drive.
Correct.
Yeah, this is fine. Enter. Now open a CMD prompt. CD slash CD enter or CD backslash enter. Now you need to say CD program files Postgres equal 11 program slash Postgres equal, no, this backslash, right? Backslash Postgres equal tab, again slash 11 slash bin enter. Yeah. Now you execute the command which I shared
No.
in the chat I have shared. It is there in the chat. PG based backup. Yeah. Yeah, enter. No semicolon. Okay, anyway, it's fine. Why you did remove that? Now you enter. One, two, three, four, five, six, right? What is the password? While you connect, right? PSQL, what was the password?
No, no,
Yeah, you type whatever the password you have.
for user
One second. You hit a upper arrow key.
1 2 3 4 5 6.
No, 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 no. Wait, wait, wait. You have to. It will not work. Wait. Type something and enter. And now you press upper arrow key. Don't hit a enter. Minus capital U,
Continuing.
minus U, capital U, space Postgres. Enter. Now you type whatever the password. Okay, it started. One second. You check NSE backup in system. That will come up sometime. Okay, it started copying. Kalyapan, like you need to create five tables, okay? Like archive one, archive two, you create five tables and check that in the archives. 1 minute, I'll be back. 1 minute. You create the table. 1 minute, I'll be back. Okay, now you have done this, right? You have to take, you need to create one more directory called NSE back BKP2. You remove that NSE BKP, but first one you remove. That will have only one table. Now we have created four tables and create something like that. NSE BKP1, 2. Yeah, and now you need to take that PG base backup inside BKP1. Okay, did you create? Or still it is going on? Yeah, it's big now, right? Yeah, once you take that backup, yeah, that is how we take an online backup.
Okay. Shankar, is it taking time or something wrong there?
No, no, no. It is almost 2 GB or 3 GB data.
Okay.
So in the production, this is what we do. We take an incremental backup. Kalyapa, like once you complete this backup, okay, later you can remove it, okay. Just we wanted to see whether the backup is done or not. Any questions you have?
No check.
Kalyapa, you are sharing the screen. Kalyapa, like once it is completed, you can okay end the class.
Okay.
Either you can confirm me tomorrow that it has completed it.
Yeah, sure.
You do one thing. You open a other terminal. There is a shell prompt, right? Can you open it? Another shell prompt. There you type checkpoint semicolon
Checkpoint.
semicolon. Enter. You check the other terminal. Yeah, it started. Okay. You can check the directory.
Shankar?
Yeah, yeah, please.
I, is it because of we gave this command it got completed here or
We did a forceful backup.
okay.
Is it coming in the what do you call the direct? Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's it, Khalifa.
Okay. Shall I stop my screen or
Yeah, we can stop. We can end the class. Okay, team. Thank you. Thanks for joining. We will
yeah.
meet tomorrow, same time. Bye.
Bye.